Hello, everybody. I am back after, not after, but my dad called me while we were in the middle of filming and it just completely ended. So we're gonna try this again. Hopefully no calls will come. But I'm not alone. I have a friend with me and you guys all know who he is.
Tom and Friends Variety, back again.
After a pretty long time of starring in my videos.
Welcome back.
And
Thank you.
welcome back and fuck you. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, and we're gonna do this is something that we just wanted to do just so you can familiarize yourself with us. It's a get to know us video. This will be split into two parts. The first part, which is what you're watching now, will talk about how we got into Thomas and our experience with it. And part two will be about how Tom and Friends Variety and I met. And that will be in part two, so keep an eye out for that. Although I may do part two after immediately filming part one. So, let's get started. So Tom and Friends, do you want to tell them how you got into Thomas, like your first experience?
Yeah, I'll try to remember. I don't remember my first time.
Like, what was your first-hand experience
That
with
just
it?
sounds wrong. First time.
Like, what was your
I
first
can tell you that
experience?
my brother kind of liked it before me. I think he might have had some toys, Ertl toys, but then I took over for the liking of it. My brother still kind of likes it. I tell him about the cool stuff that happens, and he remembers, and we talk about it. He always asks me questions like, "Hey, you remember this? Remember that?" So I had a lot of VHS tapes as a kid, which I may have told you in the videos I make about my tapes. I had a lot, and then they were thrown out or given away.
They were thrown out?
Not literally thrown out. And same thing with my wooden railway and Ertl toys. So I had all those, and then I still kind of followed the show. I used to watch it on like PBS when it was on, but I didn't have a computer at the time either, so I didn't.
Before we go any further, I just want to say that if you don't already know, Thomas and Friends has now moved to Nick Jr. I don't know if you already knew
It
that.
actually airs tomorrow. I'm gonna watch it.
So it actually airs tomorrow.
It airs on Nick and Nick Jr.
Nick Nickelodeon, the main channel, and then Nick Jr. In case you guys didn't know.
The adventure begins.
Well, yeah, that'll start it off.
So that's a good way to start it off.
I guess.
Anyway, so
So yeah, back to what he was saying.
I had him on tape, and I don't ever recall really watching Shiny Time Station though.
I very vaguely remember watching that. It was a season 1 of the show, and I do remember Ringo Starr was part of the first season.
Yeah,
But after that, the rest of it of me watching it is just a fuzz.
So I mainly had it all on tape, and then maybe I saw some other ones. I remember vaguely once that like one episode aired individually with the credits and the intro and credits. It wasn't on Shiny Time Station. It was, I forgot which one it was, but I thought that was pretty cool. And then yeah, it was just the VHS tapes, and then I had those all the way up until the mid 2000s, and then they were given away, thrown out, whatever. Then, like I was saying before, I didn't really have a computer at the time, so I used to just watch it on TV. But then I'd start looking stuff up when I got a computer, like, hey, this is pretty cool. I used to find all the history of the show, all the stuff I didn't know at the time, and then, I used to watch it on YouTube, and then a couple years ago, when the show changed for the good, like season 17 and King of the Railway.
Yeah, around that time.
For quite a while, I didn't go into YouTube and watch it, but then when stuff started to change for the good, Duck's promo image, I'm not saying I'm a fan of Duck, but I thought that was pretty cool, and then realizing, like, hey, this show is actually pretty good, and again, I'm going to start watching it and following it again. For the past almost 3 years, I've been doing my VHS and book collecting. And ever since I've had my own iPhone, too, I've been able to freely do what I want, look up stuff, watch videos, and make my videos, I guess, too. So, I've been through it through thick and thin, really. I just didn't exactly.
Just didn't exactly.
Wasn't always available to me. I didn't not purposely didn't watch it. Like when season 15 started to air.
Which is also the most infamous season of the series, which is the most hated.
I used to, I'd go to
Severely
school and
hated.
then go to school and then it'd be uploaded. It'd be uploaded much earlier, but I didn't get to watch it at school. I didn't like it, but it was like, hey, new episodes, pretty cool. And that's what I'm going to do with season 22. To be honest with you, I still going to watch it, going to check it out. I like new things. Maybe not like that bad, but we'll see what happens with it.
I'll give season 22 a shot as well.
I'm up to new things, and like I said, I've been through it thick and thin, and there have been a lot of people on Twitter saying that they're leaving the fandom, but I'm still.
I know you're not going to leave the fandom.
And even then, I'm still like.
Nah, I don't think I'm going to leave the fandom either, unless it got really shitty. Then I'll just break away from the fandom for maybe a little bit.
I won't even do it, even if it is shitty, because then I'll just talk about other stuff.
Like how good the series was before.
A lot of people say that, and even then, I'll still find out if there's any cool new things. I admit some of the, a good chunk of what's upcoming is pretty crappy, but other parts are pretty cool, like having all the great Railway Show characters coming back. And
at least that's a good thing. At least that just shows they're not one-offs.
Yeah,
I'm especially excited to see Rajiv and Ashima. And for those of you who know, I think you'll know why I'm excited to see those two.
Yeah, and then Rebecca and Nia, there's a whole.
Yeah, the whole Henry Edward replacement bullshit. Guys, let us make this clear. Edward and Henry are not leaving the series. Yes, I know I made a video of Edward, Henry, and Toby off the Steam team before. Yes, I know I made that. But still, I'm gonna make an updated video of that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What else is there?
Let me talk about my experience with Thomas now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it wasn't quite literally a train of thought. But...
nice,
yeah, you
nice
go
one.
Ahead
Nice joke right there.
I'll just give season.
Train of thought.
I'll give season 22 a try.
Train of thought.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. So my first experience with Thomas began when I was in kindergarten, I think. So what happened was, I would used to rent videotapes from the library, and one of them was the sad story of Henry. And it wouldn't work on my VHS tape. It would, the VHS tape, the tape itself would play, but there would just be no picture coming. And then I got my first, wooden railway set. It was a basic figure 8 set. I got that when I was around, I think in kindergarten. And then I remember I used to get the James Goes Buzz set. And then one of the very first episodes I actually watched, I know I said that I watched The Sad Story of Henry, but whatever. The first season 3 episode I saw was either James Goes Buzz or Escape. One of those two. And then probably a few years later, I got a Tomy set. This was in the early 2000s. I got it from Toys R Us, and speaking of Toys R Us, I also got some other wooden railway models there too. So anyways, after that, I pretty much got involved with Thomas from there. And I never really watched Shining Time Station. I very vaguely remember watching it. It's there, but a glimpse of it is still there in my memory, but not entirely.
Although with me, I didn't watch Shining Time, but
You said Shining Time Station was canceled a year before you were born, right?
I mean, they still aired it.
That's what you told me, right?
No, they made episodes through '95, and then
didn't they officially end the series somewhere in 1998?
Well,
or before that?
They had the family specials.
Yeah.
In 1995, Mr. Conductor's Thomas Tales in 1996.
Which is a spin-off.
But they still probably aired it on PBS for a while. And then they had the Story Time with Thomas, which a lot of people don't even know or remember about. It's
let alone its existence, right?
Yeah. And then Shining Time Station then aired on Nickelodeon, Nick Jr.
Oh, that I definitely remember.
I don't remember that either, but Shining Time Station still aired on TV though, and I don't think I ever watched it because when it ended, it didn't exactly fall off the screen. On
Like it just didn't like fade away, right?
no, they still aired it for a while.
But on reruns, right?
Yeah, and then after 2000, after Night Junior, yeah, it hasn't been.
Shining Time completely disappeared after that, right?
It hasn't been on TV since,
Hmm.
or anything else. No videos, no nothing.
So back to what I was saying. What my second Wooden Railway set was a James Goes Buzz set. Surprise! I got again. That was in kindergarten, and also I used to go to Woodfield Mall. There used to be a Thomas store down below the main floor. It was like probably the basement floor. I don't know, but they used to have this Thomas store, and that's where I would go and play with the toys. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Anyways, that's where I think I got my Wooden Railway models from. And also, this is where I also got my very first Thomas VHS tape. That's not from a library. I got it. My very first one was Thomas Comes to Breakfast. It was a green VHS tape, not VHS tape, but a green VHS release with a cover of Henry on the front and Trust Thomas picture on the bottom. I think that was released somewhere in the 2000s. I don't know.
I have that one too, and I have one now.
So that's my first-hand experience with Thomas, and ever since then, I also got a Thomas 5-car value pack for Christmas one time in like 2001, and it was the Tired Out Thomas. The only two pieces I still have of that pack is the Tired Out Thomas and Soderline Caboose. Everything else is just lost, either lost or long gone. So, and then throughout high school and middle school, I had to hide my obsession with Thomas because I didn't want others to make fun of me. High school, I tried to hide it. I hid it for a while in high school, but around senior year, one of my gym teachers, he said he liked two of the gym teachers, or no, one of them. Yeah, two of the gym teachers in high school, they told me that they liked Thomas. Like his kid, like one of them, his name's, I don't want to disclose his name for identity reasons, but he watches it with his kids and he says he likes it. The other gym teacher, who is also a baseball coach, also likes Thomas as well. He says he thinks Diesel Tennant is his favorite, but he also seems to like Percy and Diesel. I tell him that James is my favorite.
That reminds me of some stories about if you're done talking.
Almost.
Yeah, then finish. Okay.
So that's my pretty much experience with Thomas. And even though we're in college now, I know it's spoilers, but I'll save that for part 2. We still love Thomas even to this day, even though we're in college. Well, Tom and Friends Variety is not in college, but I'm still in college.
Actually, I'm going next week anyways.
Oh, yeah. So, we still love Thomas even though we're adults now.
Yeah, but it's not like...
Like what it used to be, right?
Me, personally, it's not like a childish obsession. Like a 5-year-old obsession. Like, oh, Doggy Dry Thomas! No, like, we were talking about this earlier today about, like, the rich history of the show.
Yeah.
Just what there is that all of us adult fans like. We don't like them because they're talking trains. We like them
Not that. It's the realism is what we go for.
Well,
right?
at least it was better. Just... Maybe that's a whole nother video of itself. But I'm sure there are some people out there who act like 5-year-olds, like our age, that do have the mentality of a 5-year-old.
Let's face it, I think some of us do.
I don't.
Sometimes I act like a 5-year-old sometimes.
Not me, but...
But I do that just to be funny.
So, I don't go out in public and yell Thomas and stuff. I never talked about it in high school, not that I was, like, in the closet about it. It's just that nobody needed to know or cared. So I never brought it up, and I wasn't shy about it. And so, talking about the stories about people finding out whatever, it's just a couple coworkers this one time they knew I like railroads and stuff. Well, this is gonna take a while. They brought it up one time, like, hey, like Thomas? I'm like, yeah.
And sometimes they joke about it too all the time. And I talk with the coworker too, because he's a Beatles fan and he likes Ringo Starr. And I brought it up one time, like, hey, I got something interesting about Ringo Starr. And he's like, well, does it have to do with Thomas? I'm like, yeah, it is.
Like, how did he know that?
Well, because he likes the Beatles.
And Thomas too.
He remember watching it as a kid. He's a little quite younger than me, but
Okay.
he
I
talks
see.
about cool things, and I talk about cool things. Like, hey, our connection with Ringo Starr, although he doesn't actually like Ringo that much, he just knows about it, and he likes to learn about it. Like, I'm talking about the history of the show and yada yada yada. So I don't bring it up in everyday conversation. Nobody needs to know.
Yeah,
care to tell
don't really do
anyone.
the same
It's
either.
what I do in my time. It's not I'm obsessed with it. I won't talk with other people about it. And
Other than me, right?
yeah, it's not like I won't have a conversation with people unless they mention Thomas. Like,
Yeah,
no.
same here. I would probably do the same.
No, yeah.
I would, if someone mentioned Thomas, then obviously I would immediately jump on the bandwagon about it.
And I wouldn't, get all like, oh, Thomas, you like Thomas? Like, yeah, I like it too. It's interesting.
And speaking of which, I'm actually going to be giving a speech about that in my speech class, but it's about James, which is right here. I'm going to be giving an informative speech on the introducing James model for my speech class, so keep an eye out. Well, I'm not going to be doing a video about that, but I'll tell you about it when I'm done.
Because I did something like that in speech class I had 3 years ago, about, like I said, the rich history of the show and the Railway series, because it was in 2015. So it was the 70th anniversary. I thought I'd give something cool about big year. It's more than just a kid show, a childish one,
Yeah.
a cheesy one, although it is kind of getting
It's-
cheesy.
You said it's getting. You told me earlier it was getting corky.
Something like that.
You told me earlier that it was starting to get corky again.
A little bit, but we'll see what happens. Just about how it all started. 1943, Chris Audrey being sick and Thomas being created from a toy and so forth. So I gave a nice speech about that. And I had the Thomas the Tank Engine Man, which was recently republished, to use as a source and a bunch of good stuff. So
I also have that book. I did an unboxing of that, so go check it out. Again, link in the description.
so that's
for
what
that.
we older fans like about the show. It's just
We view the show from an adult perspective and a realistic perspective.
yeah.
That's how we view the show nowadays. At least how we do. So anyways, I hope you guys, this is part 1, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Join us in part 2 when we talk about how Tom and Friends Variety and I met. And this is our personal, like how we met personally. So keep an eye out.